So now go ahead and take 3 deep breaths to begin.
That's a good idea.
In and out, and in and out, and in and out. And then go ahead and just breathe normally. Just let your breath come naturally. No need to lengthen it out or speed it up. Make it deep. Just go ahead and let your breath come as it wants to. But what I want you to do is turn that light of your attention onto your breath. And watch your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. You feel your belly rising as you breathe in and breathe out. Just follow that line that leads through your breath, connecting one breath to the next. Each one completely different than the last, but connected together, keeping that line going from the past, the present into the future. And if you pay really close attention, you can feel how the air that enters your nostrils is cool. And when you breathe out, for that short time it's been in your body, it's already warmed, kind of in the furnace of your body. You feel your lungs fill with air as that belly rises. And then your lungs, almost without having to work at it, just let that last breath out. It can become as though breathing is almost effortless, which of course it is. We breathe all day long without pausing to pay attention to it like this, except when we have a cold or a cough, or we're frightened and we can't catch our breath. And we notice all those ways that our breath changes. But it's always going on in the background. We're always stringing that one breath after the next. And if you really pay attention, without even trying, you'll notice that breath starts to become just a little smoother, perhaps a little slower and a little deeper. And you can feel as though that breath goes all the way down into your legs and your feet and your toes. You breathe right into the ground underneath you. It connects you to the ground. And you can imagine, as you're connected, that you're sitting like a mountain. You're solid and anchored, connected to the earth, breathing like a mountain, slowly breathing in and breathing out. You don't move a whole lot. You can almost think of it as though the lower half of your body is that mountain, solid, connected, not moving. And the upper parts of your body are the trees covering that mountain. They're connected to it, they're a part of it. But they might wave a little in the breeze. They move just as your lungs move as you breathe in and you feel your heart beating. Sometimes your hands or arms may move voluntarily without your even being aware of it. You notice that your head might start to droop. You lift it up and raise that chin again and then tuck it back in against your head, stretching those neck muscles again. And you can pause to feel this way at those times when you're really feeling tossed around by things. You can think of yourself as that immovable mountain. Or here in Red Wing, we live next to a bluff right next to town, 500 feet in the air, right on the banks of the Mississippi. Sometimes I come into town and I think it looks like a sleeping dragon with his head tucked under and his tail curled around it. And you can imagine that you're Barn Bluff. Again, solid, breathing, essentially unmoving. I always said those winds may ruffle your hair. You feel your breath moving in your body. So you're solid, but also flexible. And just like Barn Bluff, which we watch throughout the year, we see it when the sun bakes on it. We see it when the storms come, the dark clouds are over it, and rain pours down on it and runs quickly down its little draws and rivulets, coming at last to rest in the river again. In fall, it turns to fire as the leaves turn red and yellow, and those leaves blow away in that wind. The trees are bare, and at some point, the winds blow and the snow falls. Barn Bluff becomes blanketed. There are parts where the sun hits the incline just right that the snow won't remain, but you see it capped on the top. You see it on the rock face of it, that snow caught there and held there. And what you can connect to as you think about that is again how you are solid and unmoving. You sit anchored to the earth. And all those things, those storms, the changes, the snow, the sun, heavy winds, they may come and temporarily change the face of the bluff, but it remains constant and solid. And you can remain that way too as you're feeling those winds of life buffeting around you. Hearing from someone who you haven't wanted to talk with in a long time and are not happy to hear from. Or that clerk at the store who's short with you as you're trying to make change. The people you see on the news who are trying to stir up anger and resentment. The politicians who may believe the opposite of what you believe, or perhaps they express the same beliefs you do, but they do so in such a dishonest and angry way you can't bear it. But all those things can swirl around you, those people, the situations when your car breaks down, when your furnace goes out in the winter. You still remain, as Barn Bluff does, solid. You don't let those winds affect you. You may feel them blowing around you. And of course, you can give your attention to that fact, knowing that these things are happening. Because again, a part of it, as we said last week, is seeing things clearly. It doesn't do us any good to pretend that those winds aren't blowing. If our car won't start, we can't ignore it and go back out and expect that it will just start again. There are still these circumstances that have to be dealt with. But we can deal with them from that place of calm and solidness, kind of in believing in ourselves, you could say. Perhaps one of the powers of Barn Bluff is that it doesn't doubt itself. It's been there for thousands of years, and it feels it will remain there. And you can feel that way too. Doubt is just another cloud that swirls around you. But you can look at yourself and know you've been solid for all these years. There have been storms, floods, all kinds of changes around you. But you've remained solid, with your head held high like a mountain. And you can let that doubt blow over like the winds or the clouds do. And know that your faith and trust in the world and in yourself remains. That's at the core of that mountain. That's at the core of you. And again, as we always say, this all begins with breath. Feeling that line of breath, one breath connected to the other. And that line that also extends from the top of your head in through your nostrils, goes all the way down through your back, hips and legs, extending into the earth, grounding you again. So when you are feeling those storms around you, take a couple of deep breaths. And especially if you're here, we have that wonderful reminder that we can look up at Barn Bluff. Maybe where you are, there's something else you can look at that's just a reminder. That's sometimes what the earth can serve us as a reminder that we're a part of it. We belong here. We're a part of everything, and that we're solid, and we've remained, and we will continue. And just take those breaths. Feel how you're solid and anchored. How the winds may blow, the storms may come, the snow may cover you, but you remain. The essence of you remains who you are, what you are. The only thing that changes is that breath comes and goes. Breathing in and breathing out as your belly rises and your belly falls. Feel that breath piercing you as though you're a mountain. It's the only thing that can enter you and get at you. Those angers and frustrations, mistreatment by others, all of those storms doesn't change the basic fact of who you are. Your breath and you are solid. None of those things disturb you. So again, when you're feeling disturbed, when you're feeling the storms of your life around you, look at Barn Bluff. Look at whatever hill or valley you see out your window, or the place where a city exists. You can look at the skyscrapers, or just look at the land itself, how it has remained regardless of what's come and gone, what's been built there or not. It remains what it was to begin with a river flowing through it, where someone chose a good place to build a city, hills surrounding it, beauty, that's what drew people there in the first place. And you have that solidness, you have that beauty, you have that stillness. Just touch that and remember that. And we'll take 3 deep breaths to end this. Feel how each breath anchors you again, in and out. In and out, and in and out. Feel how you're solid and still one more time, and then when you're ready, open your eyes.